Welcome to the Black to School podcast, where two or more gathered, anything is possible. I'm one of your hosts, Hughes.
And I'm your other host, Kedar, representing that Norfolk State. This podcast is to highlight successful stories of students that are currently at an HBCU, alumni of an HBCU, or affiliated with an HBCU. So make sure you tune in weekly.
DJ 7 Track.
Welcome to the Black to School podcast with two or more gathered. Anything is possible. As always, I'm your boy Kedar.
And I'm your boy Hughes. Welcome back. We got a great show for y'all, but look, want to talk to y'all about the week, but my boy Kedar is in Hawaii.
In Hawaii, man.
Look at that sun.
I'm being sun-kissed right now. Let me see if I can turn my back. No, I'm not going to turn my background off. But it's beautiful. Huh? What? My wife is asking me, am I doing another podcast? You know what I'm saying? Oh, she's straight there. I'm like, we vacation mode. She's like, you said it was going to not work. But it's exciting because yesterday I met my oldest child for the first time.
Gotta hear about that.
It was a situation where in high school gave her for adoption. It was an open adoption, so wrote the family back and forth a couple of times. And about 3 months ago, she found me, and it's been nothing but love. It's been nothing but like wholeness and completeness. And she met us in Hawaii. She's coming to LA with us, and then she's coming back to Atlanta for the summer. And it's just,
wow.
I'm just so filled right now. It's just amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. And now, hey, bro, you got big news too. What's up with you?
So, man, I have been a school counselor for the last 12 years, but it has been my passion to get into administration. So I am relocating. Me and my family, we're getting on the little truck, and we're getting to Indiana. Wow. So everybody, the first thing that they say is like, Indiana,
right?
So yeah, Indiana. I'll be an assistant principal at an elementary school. I'm really excited, man, at the opportunity to roll up my sleeves and get to work, man. So I'll actually, instead of being a school counselor, be an AP. So it's gonna be a new change, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Hey, man, that's dope. I'm gonna tell more of the story. Your wife is also joining.
Oh yeah.
She's joining the district. So just for both of y'all to get up there and both of y'all to be in the district and start a new chapter, man. I'm so happy for y'all, man. I'm super proud of y'all.
Appreciate it.
But we got a great show. We got a great show for you, man. Hughes, we're gonna let them introduce themselves and tell you what school they from. What's your name? What school you repping?
What's up, everybody? My name is Naeem Wilkins, originally from Norfolk, Virginia. And I'm on here today, representing Shaw University. The first established HBCU in the South. I had to put that out there,
Right. Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna follow Naeem. Avery Upshur here, born and raised in Norfolk, Virginia, currently residing in Raleigh, North Carolina. Attended Shaw University. Now, some of them people down in Atlanta might have a problem when we say the first HBCU in the South, but we'll say that for another day. We first in the South, and we gonna keep it like that. So yeah, we out here repping Shaw University, Raleigh, North Carolina, man. So I appreciate y'all for the platform and giving us the opportunity to come up here and, shout out the mother is what they call it. The mother, man, all these other HBCUs out here, especially in North Carolina.
I love it, bro. Hey, when I say when everybody comes on, they're like, the HU, the whatever their school is known for, man. We love it, bro. We love it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate y'all coming, though.
Yeah, thank y'all for coming on. Then we start every podcast with this one question. Just moment of reflection before we get started on your journey. So far to date, what is your greatest accomplishment?
That's a good question. That's a good
I
question.
know, Naeem. That's why we ask it.
But the thing is, we get the same response every time we ask that question. It never
Every
changes.
time we ask it.
Uh-oh.
Same response.
Avery, you want to tackle that question first?
Yeah, bro, I can. So, you know, my proudest achievement to this day, man, would have to be, you know, just one, making it out of Norfolk, Virginia, being able to live, you know, self-sustained and be on my own out here to the point where I made a living for myself. You know, here it is 10 years later, I got out here in Raleigh in 2010 with not much. And now I'm out here, you know, little family, nice living space and all of that, man. So just being able to come out in the world and stand on my own 2 feet, you know, is probably my most proudest achievement.
Dope.
Nice. And I'm gonna have to just piggyback off of that and pretty much say the same thing. You know, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Norfolk, Virginia, but you know, Norfolk is a pretty rough place. You know, a lot of people don't make it out of the city. So I would definitely say for me to, you know, move from Norfolk, go to Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then transition out here to Los Angeles, California, would definitely be probably one of my most proudest, you know, accomplishments, you know. And then also showing others that it's possible, you know, because my life is bigger than me, you know, it's for generations to come, you know, it's for the generations that came before me. And, you know, really, that's really my goal, is to just to show people that it's possible to make it out no matter what struggle you face, you know, never allow your identity, you know, or your struggle to become your identity, you know, so just really living in that truth and showing others that, you know, you can do it too. So I would definitely say that's probably one of my most, you know, proudest accomplishments thus far.
Man, that's what's up. Naeem standing up. He a preacher. He got a podium in front of him. Naeem over here practicing on us. He a politician or a preacher? Which one?
Wow.
No, but I mean that's great. That's great that y'all mentioned you know, coming out of Norfolk and being able to, you know, make it be self-sustainable. Let's start with your journey in Norfolk. Do you guys come from single parent household, 2-parent household, first generation college? Tell us about your childhood.
All right. Go ahead, Naeem.
No, take it away.
All right. Yeah, man. For me, I grew up, you know, Reservoir Avenue, right across the street from Booker T. You know, just a little few steps away from Norfolk State. And I lived with my mother and my father for majority of my childhood. When I got to high school, that's when they split. But man, I had a pretty good upbringing. My mother was a teacher. My dad grew up in Norfolk, you know, so he was pretty known around the town, Youngs Park area. You feel me? And yeah, man, my upbringing, all I knew was sports. Mama kept us in church, and then, you know, that was it. You know, Mama was a teacher, so she ain't play about the grades. And I can say that right there, I didn't realize how much that was gonna help me moving forward when I started my own life, you know, outside of her household. So she made sure that A's and B's only. You know, towards the end, she started to, you know, slip in here on the C from my brothers or whatever. But honestly, man, I had a pretty good upbringing in Norfolk. I love the city. I love where I'm from. And you really, truly don't understand where you're from until you're able to leave it, you know, and appreciate, you know, the morals, the principles, and the values that you had that you didn't know you had to be able to live on your own. So, man, I love Norfolk. I'm happy I can say I'm from Shark City. That's what they call it, you know, and it's all good, bro.
That's dope.
That's
What about you, Naeem?
Well, I'm from Norfolk. I'm from the south side of Norfolk, a neighborhood that's known as a city within a city. I'm from the Berkeley area of Norfolk, born and raised. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Berkeley area, but, you know, it's a lot of good, it's a lot of bad, you know, a lot of love, you know, some hate, but, you know, that just comes with, you know, the territory of being from a low socioeconomic environment, or from the hood, if you will. You know, for me, I grew up in a single parent household, you know, although my dad was there. I come from a very big family, 3 brothers, 2 sisters. All of my cousins, we all grew up in the same neighborhood. For me, though, I'm a first generation high school graduate and a first generation college graduate as well. I grew up watching both my parents, I wouldn't necessarily say struggle, but, you know, fight through, you know, watching my sister deal with, you know, childhood cancer as a young child. So just seeing my family go through that, I think kind of built the resilience in me, you know, to see, you know, no matter, you know, you fall off or no matter what you go through, there's always an opportunity to bounce back. But, you know, in regards to my upbringing, I played rec ball, you know, football, basketball, things of that nature. Also, you know, played in like community drum lines and stuff like that. But then there was also, you know, coming up in the hood, you know, it's kind of hard to navigate not being in the streets, you know. So for me, like, it's almost like you're thrust into these different relationships, you're thrust into these different circumstances, and that's just the way it is, you know. So for me, you know, growing up in Berkeley, you know, I take that with pride, you know, and even outside of that, you know, that platform or outside of that neighborhood, I still carry that with me no matter where I go at. So, you know, my upbringing, I had a pretty good upbringing, you know, looking back. You know, it made me who I am today. So I'm grateful for my upbringing, and shout out to my parents and, you know, everybody in my community that has poured into me over the years.
That's dope, man. Shout out to your parents, man. Shout out to the parents.
Yeah, man.
And so we went through your childhood. Take us through high school now, where, you know, because you guys literally are right around the corner from Norfolk State. So when it came time for your decision to for colleges, take us through that process as far as when it came time for your decisions. Like, what were some of your other options, and what did it finally come up to?
All right, I guess I'll take that first. For me, you know, I never really thought about going to college. You know, I mean, granted, Norfolk State was the HBCU in the city, so like my mom would always take us to like the Norfolk State football games and on Saturdays, and I love like watching the band and stuff like that. And I think because of Norfolk State and like the Spartan Legion marching band, that really was like my outlet from being in the streets, you know, because I was just so fascinated by the music, by the dance, and by the hard work, you know, like standing in Berkeley on the south side of Norfolk and still hearing the band practice and rehearsal, you know, every night, you know. So those are some of the things that really kind of like kept me grounded from being in the streets, you know, full time. In regards to like, you know, my academic performance in high school, first of all, it took me 3 different high schools just to graduate. You know, I started out at Lake Teller, then I moved up to Northern Virginia and went to, I think it was called Robert E. Lee High School. But I ultimately ended up finishing at Booker T. Washington High School, where I was the drum major in the school's marching band. But, you know, academically speaking, and I always remember this, like during graduation, a lot of my peers, like, had all of these scholarships and, you know, applied to all of these different schools. And at the time, I graduated high school with like a 2.2 GPA. And I didn't know anything about a scholarship or none of that. And when it was time for me to apply for school, I applied for a ton of schools, Norfolk State, you know, you name it, I applied, and only one school accepted me, and that was Shaw University. I never attended or visited the campus. I just kind of like took that and ran with it, you know. And I like to say that Shaw University was my underground railroad, you know, from leaving the city, so that I can have the space so that I can further grow and develop the way that I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Dope.
Yes, sir. That boy Naeem, boy. Yes, sir. No, man. So
I probably hold on before you get started. If at any point you want to start a collection plate, brother, I will.
Go ahead. Hey, but tell him don't let this shooting, this blazer, and this button down food down.
Man, that's my boy Naeem the Dream right there. But hey, man, you know, for me, I like to tell people, you know, I didn't choose Shaw. Shaw chose me. And for me, man, I grew up playing a whole lot of sports, man, and I just knew I was going to school or college rather, to play sports. And my main sport was baseball. I went to a couple different high schools. I started at Booker T, freshman, sophomore year. My junior year, I went to Granby, and I came back to Booker T for my senior year. I was in the band, played volleyball, basketball, and baseball there. So it was a great time at Booker T, man. Best school in Norfolk, man. Best school in Norfolk. I don't care what everybody else say.
Right.
But for me, I got to tell this story. So, summertime came. I had went on a visit over to Thomas Nelson Community College. I liked it, because I wanted the opportunity to play baseball. I applied to Bethune-Cookman. That was the first school I applied to. And only because I was in the band and I applied to Bethune-Cookman. We went down there for a senior trip, and I came back, I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. They accepted me and all, but I was like, yeah, this is a little too far for me. So Norfolk State, I did that just because Norfolk State right there. They put me on the waiting list, and I kind of felt some type of way about that. Because I'm like, I told my mother, if I can't get to Norfolk State, then I don't even think I need to go to school. No shade to Norfolk State, but I'm like, I had a 3.0 coming out of college, man. I'm like, I can't get to Norfolk State with that, but it was my SAT score though, So
Wow.
remember Mr. Brown, the band director at Shaw University, because I played trombone. He had came to Booker T, and he was like, man, yeah, we was in the band room. He was like, man, let me hear something. And I was like, I ain't really trying to do all of that. I'm an athlete. I'm going to play baseball after this, blah, blah, blah. But I played something anyway. It's August roll around. I still ain't really got no kind of idea what's going to happen next. Mr. Brown called my mother. We was about to go somewhere. I always remember this story so vividly. We was about to go somewhere. So we getting in the car. Mr. Brown called, and he said, I want to talk to your mom. So my mom get in the she in the driver's seat. She don't even turn the car on yet because she talking to him. And before she could even give the phone back to me, she hung up and said, he'll be down there Sunday, and hung up. And I looked at her, like, what? Oh, I don't even know nothing about Shaw University. I don't want to be in the band because I'm like Naeem. I hear Norfolk State practicing all kinds of times of the night. I don't want to do that when I go to school. So,
Right.
And after that, bro, that was all she wrote. She took me down there Sunday for band camp. Because Mr. Brown said, he's not here. I have a scholarship for him, but he's not here at band camp. Band camp started Monday, but it was 2 weeks there. So I came down there for the second week, and that was all she wrote, man. And, to this day, my mama say, I got 2 younger brothers and a younger sister. She said, if I would have let you stay on that couch, everybody else would have done the same thing. So Mom Dukes made the decision for me. And after that, I just made the rest happen.
All facts.
That's dope.
No, that's great. I mean, and what's interesting, you guys got 2 different tracks. First generation high school, first generation college, and mom's a teacher. But that's a great thing about HBCUs. You come from different scenarios and end up together on a campus to thrive and to ultimately develop into who you are today.
Yeah.
So take us on campus. Now you at Shaw. I mean, you on Shaw. It's first week on Shaw. You don't know everybody. How was it being on campus? Paint the picture for us.
Oh man, I'm gonna go ahead. So, we end up pulling up to Shaw, and like all I know is Norfolk State, ODU. A little bit about Christopher Newport and all of that. We pull up to Shaw. I look around. We hear. I say, "This it?" Straight like that. If anybody ever been to Shaw, you'd be like, you're like, this a college right here? Because all I know is Norfolk State, ODU. But I come down here to little old Shaw University, and I was just like, what? Mom Dukes was, let's go, get your stuff out the car. We going upstairs. Yeah. Make it happen, man. But Shaw, man, very, very small, intimate campus. We probably only sit on about two or three blocks of downtown Raleigh. But I would say this, the beautiful thing about Shaw University is that the fact that it's situated right in the heart of downtown Raleigh. It's a small campus, which you know, I grew to appreciate because, you know, I would visit NC State and all of that, and I'd be like, I would have probably missed a whole lot of classes, you know what I'm saying, trying to walk from one end of the campus to the other just to get to class. So all of it was right there, you know. So, you know, very small. When you riding through, you probably blink and miss it, you know. But it's a whole lot of good history on that campus. Go ahead, Naeem.
Nice. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I guess, you know, because Avery was actually a year ahead of me, and we actually went to Booker T together. We marched in the band together, but we weren't friends. Like, we weren't even friends my freshman year at Shaw, you know. We was cool, we knew each other, but we just wasn't friends, you know. But my freshman year at Shaw, you know, of course, because we marched in the band together, we was on campus before every other student. And, you know, I needed that space and that time to kind of like gather my thoughts, you know, somebody that was like, I wouldn't say I was totally street, but, you know, I got a lot of friends that's still in the streets, and they can attest to my growth. So when I first got this show, like I said, it was like my underground railroad, and I kind of just took it and ran with it, you know. I mean, jumping right into band camp in the hot summer, you know, just trying to get in where I could fit in that. My main focus was I promised myself at my high school graduation that, you know, I would not perform academically in college the way that I performed academically in high school. So that was my chance and my opportunity to further redeem myself. So my focus was really academics, marching band and academics. Marching band, one, because I was on scholarship, and then academics is two, because I learned the system of scholarships. The higher your GPA, the more scholarship money you can apply for. Once I learned that, you couldn't tell me anything. Like, I was probably one of the top students in my class. And I'm not saying that like to brag or anything like that, but it was the desire, it was the determination to change the narrative, because I struggled so much in middle school and in high school that I just wanted so much better for myself, for my family, and for my community. So, you know, I kind of stayed to myself. You know, I had a girlfriend that went to college with me from high school, which was cool because it kept me focused. Marching in the band kept me focused. It kept me disciplined. And then another beautiful thing about being at Shaw and coming from Norfolk was it was a lot of people from the area that was already there. You know, so like just having people that's from back home already there kind of like made it easier for me to transition. You know, it's like I wasn't homesick. You know, I had a support system, and, you know, I was really just there for business. You know, every day I wake up, I would be in suit and tie, and I would tell myself, it's time to go to work, sir. And that's exactly what I focused on. So, yeah.
Man, it's crazy you say that, because I can kind of relate it with you, Naeem, in the sense that I wasn't like a B student in high school, but I remember that midterm at Norfolk State, and I got a phone call waking me up from my mom, and she was like, "So that's what you went down there for?" And I remember I got so mad, and from that point on, I stayed in the library, because I'm like, I'm not going back home to New York. So I'm like, I stayed in that library, so I can relate to what you're saying, man.
And I can attest to that. Hughes and I actually had a class together.
Yeah.
He actually did his work.
Nice. But I got another story for the library, so we'll say that for later. But, you know, the library was definitely one of my favorite places to be in, you know, between, you know, being in the band, marching in the band, and then like just trying to knock out work in the library. You know, that was really my safe haven, if you will. Yeah. But I'll share that part of the story at a later time.
Yeah. So tell us, who were some influential professors for y'all?
Well, that's easy. You know, for me, it was two professors specifically. You know, one was Mr. Brown, because just like Avery was recruited out of Norfolk, I was also recruited out of Norfolk as well. Now, the unique situation with Mr. Brown and myself is Mr. Brown is also from Norfolk. But not only is he also from Norfolk, he's also from the same neighborhood that I'm from in Norfolk. So he understands what it's like being in the trenches and making it out. And he pretty much set the standard from the way you dress, from the discipline, from being hard on you, from being on time, like all of that. You know, he really was, you know, a person that I really looked up to. And he was there since day one. Another person was, and she's no longer here with us, is Dr. Leathers. Dr. Leathers was the Honors College director, and she was like a mom to me, you know, like a mom away from home. And, she was the one that, made me want to excel, made me want to perform academically. Granted, I struggled in high school, like all 3-4 years of high school, graduating after attending 3 different high schools. So Dr. Leathers was the one that kind of like give me the intellect that I needed to challenge me, challenge my critical thinking skills. And, she really set the tone. And then I ended up becoming the president of the Honors College. So just having that relationship with her and then also having that relationship with Mr. Brown, those 2 people, and there was a lot of other professors as well. Shout out to them. I can't forget about them. But those were like my mom and my dad, when I was at Shaw.
Yeah, man. I gotta echo him with Mr. Brown, man. Hey, Mr. Brown, like he said, he set the tone, and just being able to see, somebody from the same city you from, chilling in life. He was just chilling in life, but he just showed you that, you out here now. Now you got to make it happen. So Mr. Brown, first and foremost, man, the most influential. Then I got to go to my advisor, Dr. Palmer. I was a kinesiology KT major, what they call it. And Dr. Palmer was one of those guys. Mr. Brown too, don't come to my class a minute late, or that's it. It ain't no, that door is closing. If you ain't in there, you ain't in there, honestly. And Dr. Palmer too. So, Dr. Palmer, we had a quiz every Friday, and he was my advisor, so I had to take multiple classes with this man. And every quiz was short answer. No multiple choice. And you can't Naeem. That boy Naeem.
You can't fake the funk on short answers.
Hey, when it came Thursday night, I'm studying all night and then his classes was 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So it was like, but he taught me that, what I'm saying, no matter what, because Thursday night everybody goes to the club. I still had to be 8 o'clock Friday morning in this class taking that test, no multiple choice. So, that just put that, get it done, no matter what kind of attitude in me, man. And I thank him for that. And he's also a member of the frat too, Dr. Palmer, man. He about to celebrate his 70th birthday here soon, about September. So shout out to him. One more, my baseball coach, Bobby Sanders, man. Very, very influential on the campus. Man, just put me in, I didn't even, and the funny thing is, I didn't even get a scholarship to play baseball at Shaw. I walked on to the team, and Coach Sanders kind of, looked after me, and it was, but unfortunately they cut the program about my senior year, but I was still getting money for the band, so I stuck it out. And then one more person, Dr. What's her name? Carmen Walker. She's the first person that told me the value and the importance of writing, and not just writing papers, but writing your thoughts down. And I gotta give her a big kudos because, she like, Avery, you got so much up top, but you gotta get it on paper. And she gave me my first journal. I'll never forget it, and I've been writing ever since. So shout out to her. And that just go, man. That just culture. That nurturing you get at the HBCU. And Dr. Carmen Walker was not even my professor. I met with her because first year program, she wanted me to be a first year program mentor. Like Naeem said, man, once you get to campus, my mom had to pay for my first semester of school and she ain't never had to pay nothing else after that. Because I finished my first semester with like a 3.7, 3.8 GPA. The financial aid door was wide open for me. Come get scholarship. And then I got the mentor program. Me and Naeem was getting that money on that campus. You hear me? We was getting on that campus.
Nah, that's great, man. So that's awesome, man. Y'all get through, you graduate. Once you graduate, then what? What are you guys doing now?
I stayed out here, man. Before we get there, man, part of our time at Shaw, man, me and Naeem, we spent a lot of time in the band. My last, we were drum major together. So, we really went out there, man, and just really brought all the Norfolk, man, to Shaw, man, and we kind of linked. Like we came in one after each other, but we left together, man. We graduated together and all of that. Now I'm teaching and coaching out here in Wake County Public Schools at a high school. And shout out to all my people at Booker T. Washington High School, Coach Sandler and all of that, man. All I'm doing now is all what Coach Sandler and Coach Jermaine Woods, all of them put into me, being hard on me very young, in sports. And I just kind of follow suit with that. A lot of good teachers, man, Booker T. Washington High School, man, mold me to become the person that I am today. Mentoring and just trying to get a game back to whoever listen, man, especially the next generation.
I wanna ask though, what were some of y'all challenges that y'all went through while y'all were at Shaw?
The typical challenge of living in a dormitory, but I think like mentally, just really trying to accept the new space that I was in. I'm no longer back home, no longer in the streets. So accepting the new growth while also being authentic and true to my upbringing as well, never forgetting where I come from, and I still, struggle with managing this to this day. It's just like, I'm all the way out here in LA, but I'm no longer who I used to be back home, so it's just like, okay, how do I channel, this new person that I'm becoming while also remaining true to, the people back home, so they don't say, oh, you done made it and you forgot all about us, this and the third. But I think my biggest challenge while at Shaw was, I was very strategic. I was very intentional about performing academically. Whether I'm sitting in front of the class, I'm building a relationship with the professor, all of the tools and the tricks to excel academically. I was in a situation where I was a residential advisor in a dormitory, and the internet connection had went out for some strange reason. And this towards the end of the semester, finals time is coming up. Students need the internet to study. Students need the internet to get work done. So I emailed administration like, hey, the internet's down. Like you guys need to do something about it. Sure, fine, we'll do something about it. So like a few days, went past. The internet was still down in the dormitory. So I'm in the library. I was actually in the middle of taking a final exam in the library because there was nowhere else for me to take the final exam but the library, because that was the only place on campus, I believe, at the time that had the internet. And the library closed at 11 o'clock. I was in the middle of taking my final exam. 11 o'clock comes, the librarian comes and say, hey, the library is about to close. So I asked the librarian for just a few more minutes so I could finish my final exam. Sure, fine. So the librarian tells the security guard comes to the library upstairs in the computer lab while I was taking my final exam at. And before you know it, they're like, hey, you got to leave. And I was just like, there's nowhere else for me to finish this final exam. Please let me stay in this library. I decided to stay in the library because if I left, 9 times out of 10, I would have probably failed that final exam. Before you know it, the police was called on campus, and I was actually arrested for doing my final exam in the library. And, it was crazy because the students protested. They withdrew me from all of my classes. The news got involved. The story went viral all over. And, granted, I graduated, but it's just like at the time, and I'm a junior in college, almost finished. I'm a student leader on campus. It's like I leave the hood so that I don't get a mug shot, but I still end up going to college and getting a mug shot, So after I was withdrawn from all of my classes, they kicked me out of the dormitory, and I literally had to pack all of my things and go home. And when I went home, I was like really hurt. I was really discouraged. And, I didn't get an apology from nobody or any of that. And, I think as a leader, like a lot of people were watching me, but they was also watching how I would respond to, the situation at hand. And, while I could have gave up and, said, you know what, I'm not going back to Shaw, that made me more determined to go back and finish than anything else, it's just because you put me through all of this. Now I gotta finish just so you can see that, what, no matter what you put me through, it won't break me. It definitely won't make me. So I had to like bounce back. I went back that following semester. We was drum majors together, and I just went even harder. We hosted Real Talk Tuesday seminars. every Tuesday in the dormitory to kind of give the freshmen and the sophomores like survival skills on how to survive, not only on campus, but in the surrounding area as well. In addition to that, we also hosted Dress for Success Tuesdays as well to kind of like, go in line with the Real Talk Tuesdays where we promote professionalism, like to the students on campus. No, don't come to class in your True Religion jeans or your pajama pants. No, come to class like you're ready to go to work, suit and tie. So when they arrested me, that turned me into a beast where now I really want to give back to this school and really show people that it's possible. So that was kind of like some of the challenges that I faced, with going to school. I mean, ultimately, I was withdrawn from all of my classes and I had to make up all of those classes. But, I was grateful enough to still be able to finish, to be able to walk with my partner here and, just get it done together. It made me more strong, if that makes sense.
Man, that's a huge challenge.
Man.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Well, that's awesome. So you go through challenges, you have professors that you talk to get through, you have each other, you got your bandmates, people that you are influencing on the yard, and then you graduate. So you're an educator. How about you, Naeem? What do you do?
I have a degree in early childhood development. After I graduated from Shaw, I kind of took some time away from school and I enrolled in Mid-Atlantic Maritime Academy in Norfolk, Virginia, where I'm also a credentialed merchant mariner, working on like tugboats and like different ships and stuff like that. But I was doing that for a while and I was just like, I got a whole degree. Why am I like doing this labor work? So I ended up getting an opportunity to move out here to Los Angeles. And I work for a organization called the Social Justice Learning Institute in Inglewood, California. And pretty much what I was doing at the time was SJLI, which is the abbreviation for the Social Justice Learning Institute. They would be contracted by the county to go into the different schools in South LA to teach not only administrators, but also teach teachers how to deal or how to, educate Black and brown men of color. So for a long time, I was going to the schools, teaching a curriculum that focused on like critical consciousness, trauma and trauma healing. And we also taught the students how to do research, with the social justice lens to it. So I did that for about 3.5 years. I'm currently in my sophomore year as an entrepreneur as well. I own a online professional resume service, affordable professional resume service. In addition to that, I also own Venice Mobile Pressure Washing and Sanitation, which is a small LLC. And what sparked that was when I was in the classroom teaching, I would see my students come in the classroom selling candy, selling chips, doing whatever it takes, to make a few dollars. So I thought to myself, what can I do to put myself in a position to put my students in a position to make money? So I founded Venice Mobile Pressure Washing and Sanitation. And with that, the ultimate goal is to create an apprenticeship where I can not only teach my former students the trade of pressure washing, but I also want to teach them about customer service. I also want to teach them about entrepreneurship and then just life skills as well. So that's something else that I do. But I'm currently a youth service manager where I look over multiple different K through 12 programs. I manage a budget of about, $500,000. And, I'm all about, helping young people to define their best version and get to the next level. So, that's my passion. I also do motivational speaking. So, just trying to do it all and show people that it's possible.
Man, you do a lot. You do a lot.
And I also have a t-shirt line. My t-shirt line is #keep going apparel. If you follow me on social media, a lot of people see when I post, I always use the #keep going. And I've been utilizing this since I was in college. So I say, why not put that on the t-shirt? So that's something new that I just started maybe about 2-3 months ago. And it's actually going really good, and the ultimate goal with Keep Going Apparel is to really spread love, spread knowledge. Keep Going Apparel is bigger than a brand. It's a lifestyle, it's a mindset, it's discipline, it's determination. It's for generations to come, no matter what you go through, keep going. So that's what I do.
That's dope. That's dope. What about you, Avery?
Hey, that boy Naeem used to be in the student center selling the toboggans with the oils. That boy.
It started at Shaw. I started this entrepreneur thing at Shaw. I used to literally be in the student center selling toboggan hats, winter gloves, body oils, you know, and a few other things, you know, but, you know, I didn't know back then that would, you know, get me to where I'm at today. So, you know, simply trust the process.
Hey, get it how you can get it, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I witnessed this guy go through all of that stuff, man. But like he said, man, he came back and he finished that jump. That's all that matters. For me, one of my struggles, man, when I was in school, man, you know, I was doing pretty good. You know, the grades was coming in. You know, I was, you know, opportunities open for me on campus to be a student leader and things like that, join the fraternity. But the hardest thing for me, man, I lost my father, man, while I was in school, away from home. And luckily, I was able to see him, you know, before he went, you know, earlier that year. This was 2015. Man, it was tough for me to bounce back from that, you know, because I'm the oldest of my siblings. And, you know, when he passed, it was just like, wow, we all got a whole much more life to live. And it's like, I ain't even, you know, back then I wasn't even thinking about having a family, you know. And it's like I didn't have my daughter. Well, I graduated. He wasn't there for that. My daughter was born. He wasn't there. You know, so it's just like that kind of ate at me a little bit, you know. But I did. That's when I had to grow up and then be that for my younger siblings. You know, I had a brother up in Maryland playing football. I had another brother out in Arizona playing basketball. Ended up going overseas and stuff like that. So I had to make sure I was at as many events as I could be at. I would have to be on the phone giving advice and things like that. You know, I was the only one that went to a HBCU. They all went, you know, got scholarships to go PWI route. But you know, the fact that, you know, in our family, at least one of us has had the experience. And you know, I tell them all the time, you know, they know that my experience was slightly different than theirs. But, you know, they was the athletes on campus, so they was well taken care of. Like, I had to get it out. Even once I got the show, I had to get it out in the mud. You know, and I tell people, man, you know, let that first year be your best year so that when you're going through your classes, man, you got somewhere to fall, man. And, you know, and I just looked out for everybody that came in the show behind me from the crib. You know, I just made sure, like, when you get here, this is how we going to do it. You know, and everybody, and ain't nobody going to fall off on the wayside. We all going to finish. So, I'm just a mentor, man, and you know, I do a little entrepreneurship and things like that. You know, I do the pressure washing and things like that as well. I got a little Italian ice company with a couple of my frat brothers getting ready to kick off soon, man. So you know, and then I train kids and stuff like that. So I do the training and the rehab. You know, a lot of the time you just get the personal trainer, you know, but I do the rehab as well. I got my master's in sports science and rehab. From a chiropractic school in Missouri. And, you know, I just, you know, academics, man, opened a lot of doors for me, you know, because even being on campus, if I ain't had a GPA, I wouldn't have been able to go into the financial aid office and people, I'm not even there, people sending me scholarships because they know I got the grades for it, man. And when I say, I'm stressing that point, because that's free money. That's free money out here. All you got to do is just put forth your best effort in the class, man. So, and then, you know, me and Naeem, like I said, man, we was killing that financial aid, you know, because even at Shaw, it was a very small school, but not a lot of people was on the time that we was on, you know. So it was easy for us to go in there with that high 3.0 and get that money while everybody else was having a good time, you know. So, you know, somebody watching that, you know, just start your first year off with, let that be your best year, 4.0.
And even if it's not, you know, even if you don't start off like your freshman year with the 3.0, whatever the case may be, it's never too late to turn things around. You know, like for me, Shaw really opened so many doors for me. It exposed me to the world, you know, not just on a national platform, but on an international platform. You know, like my sophomore year, I'm not a science major or a chemistry major, but I was able to land so many different opportunities. I studied at the University of West Indies in Kingston, Jamaica, doing prostate cancer research because academically my grades were there and they selected me to go on a trip like that. In addition to that, I traveled to China, Beijing and Shanghai, China, not only representing Shaw University, but representing Black scholars, in general at the U.S.-China Student Summit, in which I was awarded with the Best Delegate Award presented by Yao Ming. So it's just like somebody that's coming from Norfolk, Virginia, doing all these many great things. And then, I say that with extreme humility, but, again, it's possible. Going to an HBCU will allow you, or will teach you, will mold you, will groom you, to compete with PWIs. Like for me, I went to an HBCU, but I signed off people checks that went to UCLA, USC, Northridge, all of these big PWI schools. But me and my little degree from Shaw University, is on top of it. And I say that with humility. So whoever looking at this, don't charge you, but you know what I mean. But I mean, it's real. Shaw has really prepared me for the world.
As my elder Kedar would say, talk that talk, young boy.
Talk that talk. Talk that talk. Nah, what's interesting, we're at this point of the conversation in which we talk about the purpose of why we started this podcast. Hughes brought this to me and said, LB, I want to do something for Norfolk. I want to tell the successful stories for Norfolk State. And I said, bro, we need to tell the successful stories from HBCUs, period. Like all the HBCUs. And so, we do this so that we can increase the endowment, increase enrollment, increase engagement of the HBCUs. And sometimes parents have that influence. Sometimes the students themselves have that influence. And the question I was going to ask is, what is something that you can say to those scholars that are thinking about college, about choosing an HBCU, or just choosing college, period, and allowing HBCU to be an option? But before I even ask the question, Pastor Naeem, you already answered it.
Yeah.
But it feels good though. It feels good being a graduate from an HBCU. For you to tell that story of you signing people's checks that went to UCLA and SC. Because I'm married to a doctor who went to USC Med School, who did her residency at UCLA. And she be in that same office when the folks that went to Morehouse. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That same office. And although she had an experience that differs from Morehouse's School of Medicine, at the end of the day, we all still doctors in the same office.
Right, absolutely.
So we appreciate that, man. We appreciate y'all for coming on today, because I love the passion. I love the fact that you guys had stories of adversity and you came out on the other side. I love that. And I think that's one of the things that you said earlier, that being at an HBCU taught you. It taught you to get through it. Norfolk taught you. Let's not get it twisted. Norfolk taught you.
Yeah.
But you took those trainings from Norfolk, applied them to college with a school that gave you a chance. A school that, like you said, was your underground railroad for you to become who you are. And look at y'all, man. Y'all are great brothers.
Yeah.
I love it.
Y'all are success stories, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Hey, I would like to add, man, for those, man, make sure, don't go for the size of the school either. Like I said, we grew up around Norfolk State, ODU, and we ended up making it at Little Old Shaw University. So it ain't, the size of the school don't matter. You got to go where you going. I didn't want to be just a number. At Shaw, I wasn't just a number. I was Avery Upshur at Shaw University. And quite a few people knew me, didn't have anything to do with me. And I'm talking about students, professors, and all of that. I even knew the cafeteria workers to the security guards. Everybody, it's just that family thing, So don't get caught up on the size or how new the building is. None of that. I'm gonna tell you one thing, Shaw, man, there's so much rich there, from SNCC and all of that kind of stuff, to some of the graduates of Shaw University, and shout out to all of them, because I know I'm just, a small leaf on a big tree, but man, a lot of them schools in North Carolina started from Shaw University. You look at the big A&T, that was in our basement. You know what I'm saying? And now A&T ain't G-Hood, you know? So don't just pick a school based off of what you see, you know, what you know. Cause like me and Naeem, we ain't know nothing about Shaw University, you know? But now we able to tell other people about Shaw University. And that's what we enjoy doing, man. And we love Shaw University. Happy that, you know, I met my lady from Shaw University and all of that, man. It's all love, man.
Hey, that's what's up.
So,
How can the people find y'all?
oh man, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Coach Avery Upshur. Coach Avery Upshur. You know, if you need me, find me there, and then we'll talk from there. All social media platforms. I got a YouTube channel, Coach Avery Upshur as well. Check out some of my footage of my games and stuff like that. You know, I do it all. You need a trainer, volleyball, basketball, baseball, tennis. You know, I got you. You know, we do it all.
And yeah, just follow me on Instagram at the real Mr. Wilkins. The real THEREAL Mr. Wilkins. WILKINS.
Dope.
Man,
Hey man,
Shaw,
this
no, the first university in the South.
We ain't worried about Atlanta University down there.
Naeem Wilkins, brother Avery Upshur. We appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all, man. Keep doing what y'all do. Keep going.
appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. For sure.
Man, hey man, them boys is inspirational, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's great seeing two people from Norfolk make it.
Yeah.
Being a graduate from Norfolk State. Which leads us into this last part of our episode where we call it Lesson of the Day, where Hughes and I talk about something that we picked up from them. Hughes, you want to go first?
Yeah, man.
So
So for me, man, I gotta say resilience, man, because of the fact that these two young men, they're coming from Norfolk, and not just any part of Norfolk. They're coming from the hood. They're coming from all types of things that could pull them in other different directions. And then the fact that they almost didn't make it to college. You know, I know Avery said he had a 3.0 GPA, but he almost didn't make it. That was like a last minute thing. And then, you know, for Naeem, same thing, coming from a different environment to now go into college and university, and the fact that Shaw University, like they said, found them instead of they finding Shaw. It was
Right.
refreshing to hear how they were both able to overcome their challenges and come out on top and come out even more successful. So I love to hear stories of Black men that come out on top, you know, coming out of those environments. So what did you get, man?
You know, I'm gonna go with stubborn. Sometimes being stubborn is an awesome thing, though.
Yeah.
It definitely had some adversity with finishing, especially Naeem. And for him to be so stubborn as to get arrested, to say, I am going to go back, not only am I going to finish, I'm going to become the president of the Honors Association, and I'm going to give back to my university. That takes a level of stubbornness that's so selfless that we need more of it.
Yeah. Man, that was dope, man.
Make sure y'all follow us. Make sure you subscribe, you like, share, tell a friend. We're on your favorite podcast app. I'm Kedar, my boy Hughes.
Check us out next week.
Peace.